Yo, what's up? This is your girl Dragon and it's time for a Fortnite Creative Tutorial. In this tutorial, you'll learn how to create your very own piece control map. You'll learn how to create teams, work with player counters, create your own round rotations, and more. This is going to be a very fun one. I can't wait to get started and show you guys how to create this fun game. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. This series is broken into 2 parts, so if you don't want to miss part 2, be sure to subscribe. That way you don't miss the next one. Plus, you'll get a chance to catch more tutorials just like this that can help you create more games. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. I went ahead and put together a prototype island for you, which will make it easier for you to follow along. Let me first take you step by step with what's going on with the process, and then we'll dive into all the devices that you need to get this started. Let's do it. So for this type of game, you're going to need 5 different areas for the players to rotate in. In addition to that, don't forget to include a separate area where you can place your levels. The first area should be your pregame area where players spawn in, and they wait for the game to start. When the game has started, the players will be transported to an area where they can pick their teams. Once they pick their teams, they're going to be split into 2 different sections for Team 1 and Team 2. This is a player holding area to ensure there's enough players in a game before the match starts. Once they wait there and they receive their weapons, they'll go right into the match. And once the match ends, the players go right back to the holding area to wait out for the next round. Now this tutorial only has 2 rounds, so once the rounds are done and complete, they're going to go right here to the game ending section, and they can choose to rematch. Or they can matchmake into a different game. Now that you have an idea of what the setup's all about, let's go ahead and jump into the devices that you're going to need. You're going to need 3 team inventory and setting devices, a score manager, an elimination manager, an item granter, trackers, triggers, Hud Message Devices, class designers, and class selectors. In addition to that, you're going to need timers and counter devices. And don't forget your player spawn pads. You will also need teleporters and player reference devices. In addition to that, you're going to need Mutator Zones, and you're going to need explosive devices to reset your builds. Alright, so I believe I've covered everything that you need as far as devices. So let's go ahead and jump into the device settings. Let's do it. Alright, so let's go ahead and start with the game settings. Let's check it out. Voice chat is all. Max players is 2. Teams is 3. Team size is split evenly. Matchmaking type is flexible teams. Matchmaking privacy is public. Default class identifier is 3. Revert to default class at end of game. Spawn limit is infinite. After last spawn, go to spectator. Total rounds is 1. Team rotation is disabled. In-game on match point win is no. Team visuals determined at round start. The time limit is none. The fastest time win is disabled. All teams must finish is set to no. The game win condition is on most round wins. Eliminations to end game is off, as well as everything down until you reach last standing ends game. Join in progress, spawn on next round. Spawn location, spawn pad selection random. Respawn type individual. Post game spawn location island start. Only allow respawn if spawn pads are found set to no. Auto start is immediate. Game start countdown is off. Beagle Trick Score Multiplier is set to 0. Keep player built structures between the rounds is set to off. Allow spectating other teams allowed. Elimination score is 20. Assist score is 0. Allow friendly fire is no. Player collision is on. Vehicle impacts damage objects is yes, even though that doesn't quite apply here, so that doesn't matter there too much. Let's go ahead and go to settings. So all these options here are optional. However, you want to make sure you protect your environment, so we do have some settings there. I have set to allow building all, allowed to edit default. Building can destroy environment set to no. Environment damage is player built only. Structure damage is enemy and self-built. Weapon destruction is none. Pickaxe destruction is on default. Player versus player pickaxe damage is on. Pickaxe range multiplier is default. Start with pickaxe, I'm going to set that to no. Down but not out is default. Drop reboot card on elimination, no. Squad multi-interaction is off. Eliminated player items is keep. Allow item drop is no. Allow item pickup is no. Auto pickup pickups is don't override. Auto pickup ammo, don't override. Auto pickup consumables, don't override, and so on. Respawn time default is 5 seconds, but let's go ahead and drop it down to 3. And we might even drop it further by using the team inventory and settings device. Spawn immunity time is default. Fall damage is off. Gravity is normal. Jump fatigue is on. Allow mantling is on. Mantling minimum height is normal. Mantling minimum height in water is normal. Allow hurdling is off. Sprinting is on. And sprinting energy cost per second is 20. Sprinting jump multiplier is 1.02 times. And these are the default settings, so you can change those if you want and if it fits your game. Allow sliding is on. Sidekick is on. Shoulder bashing is on. Glider redeploy is on. Player flight is on because we're testing. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. And player flight sprint is going to be off. Flight speed is 1.0, but it will not matter since it's turned off. And always show nameplates is set to hide. However, what you can do is when the players start, you want to set always show to all. And then when they split teams, only show to teams. And we'll go through that. Nameplate max distance is 10. Nameplate line of sight is hide behind obstacles. Focus for nameplates is no. Health granted on elimination, so if you do want to add some siphon to your game, you can go ahead and increase these limits here. I just have it set to 0 because it's not going to be required for the tutorial. Self-damage only on non-zero damage is yes. Self-damage target filter is all. Self-damage weapon filter is all. Allow manual respawning. You're going to want to turn this to no. Show wood resource count is yes. And this again is optional depending on how you're setting up your game. Maximum equipment slots is don't override. Maximum tamed wildlife is 3. And again, this part is optional. Player elimination audio is on. Hide back bling is no. Edit mode enable pickaxe is yes. Again, that's for edit mode, so that doesn't quite matter for this tutorial. Let's go ahead and go to the UI and take a look here. So I have HUD info type is set to none. Show top center scoring HUD is no. UI team colors is relationship. I have 3 max trackers on HUD. Show cumulative stat value on HUD is no. Show resource feed on eliminations no. I am using team score. Team alive for team tracking method is the summary of. Time alive start point is player spawn. The round win conditions is set to none. However, you can set it to eliminations or score if you prefer. Tiebreaker is none. The first scoreboard column is score. Second scoreboard column is elimination. And everything from here is optional, so be sure to experiment. Alright, so let's go ahead and go over the team inventory and settings device. Now we're going to be using the team inventory and settings device to display teams on the scoreboard. And you see that we have 3. We have a global team, which will be team 3 and class 3. And we have team 1, which is team 1 and class 1. And team 2, which is team 2 and class 2. Here, let's start with the global class and then we'll go to the teams. Now when the game starts, everyone's going to be the class of a challenger. I have it set to a color of green. Grant items on respawn is no. Max health, max shields, and movement multiplier is don't override. Gravity and spawn limit is also don't override. After last spawn, go to don't override. Max initial team size is don't override, and so on. When it comes to always show nameplates, I have it set to always show to all because this is when players are coming into the map, so it'll be good for everyone to see each other's names. There's no functions and there's no events for this device. Alright, let's check out Team 1. And since this is going to be quite a long tutorial, let's go ahead and go to modified options so you can see everything that's been changed. I have team name set to team 1. Team is team 1. The color is sky blue. Eliminated players items we're going to keep. Eliminated players resources we're going to keep. Always show nameplates to team. And nameplate line of sight is hide behind obstacles. Respawn time has been reduced to 1 second. Spawn limit is infinite. And after last spawn, they're going to go back to team 1. Alright, and then you'll see it's exactly the same here for team 2, but in reverse. We have team 2 for the name, team 2, eliminated player items keep, eliminated players resources keep, always show the team for the nameplates, again hide behind obstacles for the nameplate line of sight, respawn time 1 second. After last spawn, go to team 2. Again, no events and no functions. Alright, now let's move on to the Elimination Manager, the Score Manager, and the Item Granter. The Elimination Manager is used to assign score only on screen. So when a player eliminates their opponent, they're going to receive 20 points, and they're going to see that displayed on the screen. Let's take a look at the Elimination Manager settings. I have enabled at game start no. Target type is all types. Affect teams all but selected. Affects class all but selected. And there's a penalty amount of 1%. There's no functions, but there is an event, and that event is going to happen on elimination. So when a player makes an elimination, the Score Manager is going to activate to award them 20 points. So to encourage players to earn eliminations, they will receive points every time they eliminate a player. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at the settings for the Score Manager. And for this one, we're going to look at all options. The score value is 20. The score award type is add. The activating team is any. The times can trigger is infinite. Increment score on awarding is on. Score change when activated is 0. And then these are the default settings, so you can just leave those as they are. Enabled during phase is all. Visible in game is no. Transmit on score, again that's default. Play audio is no. Display score update on HUD is on. Reset HUD message score is off. The message is score, and you can set any color you like. For functions, activate when receiving from Elimination Manager on elimination. And there are no events. Next up, we're going to use an item granter, and this will grant players weapons after they choose a team. Enabled on game start is set to yes. Receiving players is the triggering player. On the grant action, we're going to clear inventory, grant all items, grant condition always, grant on cycle yes, equip granted item, don't equip, remove item on grant, no, give extra ammo, yes, cycle behavior is rep, grant on timer is off, grant while offline is no, drop items at player location is no, drop items at player location if inventory is full. I have this set to yes, but let's go ahead and turn that to no. Play audio is no. Under functions, we're going to grant item when receiving from the weapon room teleporter, and I have named that WP room team 1, and then the weapon room teleporter for team 2. They also receive it when the game is in progress for team 1 and team 2. And here we have a bug, so this appears here because there was something there, but it's been deleted and it shows an unknown option. If you want players to keep track of their score, you can implement some trackers. And I have a few here, but they're not implemented into the game. These trackers are assigned when players choose their teams and are optional. I instead will be tracking eliminations and rounds. Alright, so speaking of eliminations, I have a tracker here for that. This tracker will track eliminations and determine game win conditions. Whoever reaches the target count first wins the match. Let's take a look here at the settings. The stat to track is eliminations. Reset between rounds is set to no. However, if you're going to have multiple rounds in your game, you might want to set this to yes. The target value is 1 because it's going to be a 1v1. Starting value is 0. It's valid for any team. Assign on game start is no. Assign when joining in progress is no. Progress sharing is team. Target team is any. Target class is any. Weapon category is any. When target is reached, we're going to complete the tracker. The winning team is going to be based on the win game conditions. Amount to change on received signal is 1. We're going to show detailed here for the HUD. The tracker title is a limb tracker. And again, this is optional. The progress indicator is total. Tracker completion ceremony is no. Self-eliminations count is no. Player eliminations count is yes. Headshots only, no. Non-player eliminations, no. The quest icon and color is optional and we're not using persistence. Alright, let's take a look at the functions. We have remove from all when receiving from, empty, complete when receiving from is empty. Reset progress when receiving from the tracker elims 1v1. We want to reset it, and that's because we're doing multiple rounds. And we're going to reset that when it's complete. I want this tracker to be only active at the time the match is in progress, so it's going to be removed as soon as the match is complete. So as soon as they teleport back in, it's going to be removed, and I have it set to remove when receiving from teleporter game in progress team 1 and teleporter game in progress team 2. It's going to be reassigned back when they go back into the game, and assign when receiving from teleporter game start team 1 and teleporter game start team 2. You can of course save some time, just do assign to all when receiving from, so that's also another option. Alright, so let's go ahead and go over events, and before I do that, let me go ahead and kind of explain what's happening with the events. So with this tracker, once something takes place, once the player eliminates a player, then I need them to know that they won. So I'm going to have a HUD message display, you won. It's also going to increment progress for the round tracker, which means that they have then completed one round, and then the Mutator Zone round in is going to enable, which will then teleport the players back to the team holding area. In addition to that, it's going to reset the progress of this tracker so that it can be ready for the next round. Alright, so next up we have the message that's going to alert the winners. It's going to say you won, and this is going to be going to the triggering player. Time from round start is off. Display time is 4 seconds. Text style is extra large. Message priority is normal. Play sound is message. Placement is top center, and it's not visible during game. This is going to show when Tracker Elims 1v1 is completed, and that's it. Next up we have the tracker that's going to be keeping track of the rounds. So after teams complete 2 rounds, it's going to send them back to the game end lobby. Now keep in mind that when the game starts, they're already on the first round, so they only have 2 more to go to make it 3. Let's take a look here at the tracker settings. I named this tracker Tracker Elims Round Tracker. The stat to track is channel. It will reset between rounds. Target value is 3. Starting value is 1. Valid team is any. Assign on game start is no. Assign when joining in progress, no. Progress sharing individual. Target team is any. Target class is any. Weapon category any. When target is reached, complete tracker. Winning team is use game win conditions. Amount to change on received signal is 1. We're going to show on the HUD as well as the list. So that'll be both the detailed and the list. I've named this round tracker. Progress indicator is total. Tracker completion ceremony is no. Self-eliminations count no. Player elimination count no. Headshots only no. Non-player eliminations no. And you can choose your own icon, and no persistence. Alright, so taking a look at the functions, when you go to increment progress, you want to set that to increment when the player makes an elimination. So I have it set to Tracker Elims 1v1, so once they eliminate a player, that's going to count as them completing 1 round. Alright, so let's take a look at events. So you can see there's quite a lot going on here. And let's go ahead and just start from the top, and I can kind of explain what's happening. So our Mutator Zone game end is going to enable. That means the game has ended because they've completed all the rounds. And this zone is going to transport them to the game end area. This is also going to clear the player reference devices that we have set up in the team select area. It's also going to disable the teleporters in the team holding area, so they're not transported there anymore. So I have teleporter game in progress team 1 disabled, and I also have it set for teleporter game in progress team 2 disabled. This will also reset the builds. So I have explosive devices exploding at the same time this event is occurring. And again, it's going to disable the teleporters in the weapon room, which is the team holding area. And then the Mutator Zone round in is going to disable. That way it will not transport them back to that area. It's also going to enable the teleporter in the game over area. That way they can be transported there. And enable the Mutator Zone game in, which is going to be right above the level. I'm going to go ahead and go down the list slowly. That way you can just take a look at it just to see everything I have here. Alright, so we need to set 3 classes, including a global class. Let's first take a look at the global class. I have class name set to global. The class identifier is 3. Grant items on respawn is no. Equip granted item is don't equip. Visible during game is no. Grant ammos with weapons is yes, even though that doesn't matter, you can set that to no. Start with pickaxe is no. Starting health is don't override. And so on, going down the list here. Overshield is hide. Movement multiplier don't override. Allow sprinting is off. More options for sprinting is hide. Allow sliding is off. And so on. Jump fatigue is on. Allow mantling is off. Hurdling is off. Player flight is off. And always show nameplates, show to all. Nameplate max distance don't override. And so on. Allow building is none. Respawn time don't override. And there you go. Allow item drop is no. Allow item pickup is no. Harvest multiplier don't override. And visible in UI is no. And there's no functions, no events. Now the global class selector, let's take a look at that. The class to switch to is 3. The team to switch to is team 3. Activating team is any. The time to switch is instant. Respawn player on switch is no. Restore health and shields on switch is yes. Clear items on switch is class items only. The size and the volume is 1 meter. The volume visible in game is on. And let's see, you can select whatever color you want. Enabled during phase is gameplay only. Activation audio is off. Zone audio is off. Display VFX on activation is no. Alright, and then let's see, as far as functions, we have change player to team. When player spawns on the pregame pads, that's in the pregame area. In addition to that, when the game ends, you want to change them back to the global class. So when they are teleported to the game over area, you can see I have my teleporters here. I have game over winner teleporters as well as the game over losers. When they're teleported, they're going to be switched back to this global class. They also are switched back if they enter this Mutator Zone, which is going to take them to the rematch area if they choose to do so. There's no events, and there you go. Let's take a look at the class designer for Team 1. I have it named Fighting Class, but they're not going to see this because it's not on the UI. The class identifier is 1. Grant items on respawn is no. Equip granted item is don't equip. Visible during game is no. Grant ammos with weapons, no. Start with a pickaxe is yes. Starting health is 100%. The max health is don't override. Starting shields is 100%. Max shields is don't override. Allow overshields is off. Overshield more options is hide. Movement multiplier don't override. Allow sprinting is on. Sprinting more options is hide. Allow sliding is on. Allow slide kick is on. Allow shoulder bashing is on. Instant reload off. Infinite ammo on. Infinite consumables is off. Infinite resources is on. Eliminated player items keep. Eliminated player resources keep. Fall damage is on. Gravity is don't override. Jump fatigue is don't override. Allow mantling is on. Show more options mantling is no. Allow hurdling is on. Player flight is don't override. Always show nameplates to team. Nameplate max distance don't override. And is set to hide behind obstacles. Focus for nameplates don't override. Show player health indicator don't override. Display health for all players don't override, and so on. Allow building is all. Respawn time don't override. The spawn limit is 1. Spawn location don't override. Health granted on elimination don't override, and so on. Allow item drop is yes. However, let's go ahead and change that to no. Allow item pickup is no. Harvest multipliers don't override. Spawn immunity time is 5 seconds. And visible UI is no. Alright, so the team 2 is practically the same. With the difference of the class identifier, you want to set that to 2. And then we're going to go down and make sure we change, let's see here, the items to no and no. And there you go. Yo, if you guys have made it this far, you are awesome. Since this game involves quite a few mechanics, I had to split it up. But before you go, let me leave you with a tip. Naming your devices well helps speed up the process and makes troubleshooting easier. Stay tuned for part 2 where we set up pregame, team picker, and team rooms. Hope to see you there. Alright, I'll see you on the next one. Bye!